My grandmother gave me an orchid the week I moved into my very first apartment, and I was terrified of it from the first day. She had grown orchids her whole life, and handing me one felt like a test I was almost certainly going to fail. For the first year, I actually did fine. It bloomed twice, and I would text her a photo each time. And then slowly, without me noticing, the balloons stopped coming, and I told myself it was just resting. 8 months went by with no flowers, until the day I decided to repot it and pulled the plant free, expecting the same silvery, plump roots I remembered. Instead, I was holding a plant whose roots were dark, mushy, and in places almost hollow. My stomach genuinely dropped. If your orchid's roots have turned dark and mushy, that does not mean you did something obviously wrong. Orchids are grown completely differently from almost every other houseplant, and the exact watering habits that keep a pothose or peace lily happy are often the very thing that slowly damages an orchid's roots, without you realizing it until it's already fairly advanced. Orchid roots are not like typical plant roots. In their natural environment, most orchids grow attached to tree bark, up in the air, roots constantly exposed to airflow between rain showers. That's why orchids are potted in chunky bark instead of soil. The problem is bark breaks down over time, becoming denser with every passing month, and watering on the same schedule you started with means giving the plant far more moisture than aging bark can properly drain away. When roots sit in trapped moisture, they run out of oxygen, and that low oxygen environment is exactly what certain fungal pathogens need to move in and break down root tissue from the outside in. Once that rot spreads, the plant loses its ability to pull up enough water and nutrients for anything beyond staying alive. Blooming isn't something the plant chooses to stop. It becomes something it genuinely cannot afford anymore. If you want to actually understand the plants you're caring for instead of just following instructions blindly, hit subscribe. That's exactly what I dig into every week. My first instinct that afternoon was to just repot immediately into the new pot, leaving the damaged roots as they were and hoping things sorted themselves out. Leaving even a small section of rotted root in place doesn't let the plant recover quietly. It lets the infection keep spreading into whatever healthy tissue is left. So instead, I focused entirely on the roots themselves first. I rinsed everything under lukewarm water, trimmed away every root that felt mushy or looked dark, cutting back to firm, white or green tissue. By the time I finished, I'd removed almost half the root system, and I genuinely doubted the plant could survive with what was left. This is where my grandmother's advice, something she told me years earlier that I'd completely forgotten, ended up saving the plant. Cinnamon. She used to dust it onto any fresh cut before repotting, and it turns out there's genuine science behind it. Cinnamon contains natural compounds with real, documented antifungal and antibacterial properties, functioning almost like a natural seal over the wound. I dusted plain ground cinnamon directly onto every cut end, pressing it gently so it actually stuck. Once every cut was covered, I let the roots air dry for about an hour before doing anything else, since repotting on a damp cut tissue would have undone the point of drying them. After that hour, I repotted into fresh, draining orchid bark, using all new material rather than reusing the old bark, which can still harbor the same fungal spores. Then came the part that tested my patience most. I did not water at all for 2 full days, letting every cut properly seal over, because watering too soon reopens the door for infection right when the plant is most vulnerable. Once those 2 days passed, I changed my entire approach going forward. Instead of watering on a fixed calendar schedule, I started checking the bark before every watering, only adding water once it had dried out almost completely, closer to once a week than the twice-a-week habit I'd unknowingly fallen into, which is almost certainly what caused this to begin with. I kept the plant in bright, indirect light throughout recovery, and I also started paying attention to humidity for the first time, setting the pot on a shallow tray of pebbles and water, keeping the water level below the pot itself, so the roots were never sitting directly in it. It is a small thing, but I genuinely believe it helped the plant recover faster than it otherwise would have. Around the 2-week mark, check closely for new root tips forming distinctly bright green and slightly translucent at the very end, completely different from the silvery, papery older roots around them. For my grandmother's orchid, those first new green root tips showed up almost exactly 15 days after repotting, and I sent her a picture immediately. Once a plant is consistently generating new roots, it typically starts redirecting energy toward a new flower spike within about a month. Mine sent up its first spike almost 6 weeks after repotting, and when the first bloom opened, I called my grandmother to tell her. If your orchid starts showing the same signs of recovery, come back and leave a comment that says my orchid is growing new roots. I read every single one. If this helped, hit subscribe because in the next video, I'm telling you about an aloe vera that started turning soft and almost see-through at the base while I was away on a trip, and the panicked evening I spent figuring out whether it could still be saved after I got home.